The Americans are facing a chilling new warning from one of Iran's top military commanders. A senior Iranian general has declared that coffins are now an essential part of US military equipment in the region. Iran has warned that the era of launching attacks and escaping without consequences is now over for the United States. Tehran has delivered a fiery message, saying American forces should consider their coffins ready if tensions escalate further. Is Donald Trump's Middle East strategy pushing US forces toward an even deadlier and more dangerous confrontation? Iran's al-Anbiya central headquarters chief issued a sharp warning to the United States on July 30th, escalating Tehran's rhetoric amid continuing regional tensions. Major General Ali Abdollahi claimed US forces have now realized that coffins are part of their equipment, describing it as the new reality facing American troops in the region. Major General Ali Abdollahi said, and I quote, "The Americans and their mercenaries have today realized deep in their souls that their coffins are part of their equipment in the region," unquote. The commander said the remark reflects what he described as the harsh reality now confronting US forces operating across the strategically vital Gulf region. The al-Anbiya central headquarters chief also repeated a statement previously attributed to Iran's late supreme leader while reinforcing Tehran's military posture. Major General Ali Abdollahi declared that the era of strike and escape has ended, repeating the warning during remarks carried by Press TV. Abdollahi warned that any future miscalculation by the United States would invite severe consequences and a forceful military response from Iran. The commander claimed Iranian forces inflicted heavy losses on their enemies despite facing technologically superior weapons and advanced military capabilities. Abdollahi also claimed that modern military technology and hybrid warfare tactics ultimately failed to weaken or overcome Iran's defensive and combat capabilities. Iran said its armed forces remain fully prepared to respond immediately and decisively to any threat directed against the country's sovereignty or territorial integrity. Abdollahi claimed that any hostile action against Iran would be answered with what he described as a decisive and regret-inducing response. The general also claimed the United States and its allies have been forced to reassess the true cost of initiating any new military confrontation with Iran. He further described the continued US military presence across the region as illegal, according to remarks carried by Press TV. Iran maintained that the continued deployment of American forces in the region only increases the strategic and military costs for what it called aggressors. Tehran also warned that US military bases and deployed forces would remain vulnerable in the event of any future regional conflict. The latest warning comes as tensions across the Middle East remain high following months of conflict, military exchanges, and continued regional instability. After meeting Netanyahu, President Trump orders a fresh wave of military strikes on Iranian targets. Donald Trump ordered US Central Command to launch fresh airstrikes on Iran, escalating the confrontation and raising questions about what could come next in the ongoing conflict. US Central Command statement read, and I quote, "US forces began launching strikes against Iran at 8 p.m. Eastern Time today. The strikes are a powerful response to yesterday's attempted Iranian attacks on US forces based in the Middle East," unquote. The CENTCOM statement further read, and I quote, "At 10 p.m. Eastern Time on July 29th, US Central Command forces successfully completed a heavy wave of strikes against Iran in response to yesterday's attempted missile attacks on US forces. CENTCOM assets struck dozens of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps targets in Iran, including military command centers, missile and drone facilities, coastal surveillance and defense sites, and maritime capabilities. The strikes aim to further diminish threats posed by Iran and its proxies to American forces, commercial shipping, and neighboring Gulf countries. On July 28th, IRGC forces launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran in an attempted surprise attack on US forces based in the Middle East. All Iranian missiles were successfully intercepted. More than 50,000 US service members are currently deployed to the Middle East and remain highly vigilant, focused, lethal, and ready." Unquote. 3 explosions were reported on Qeshm Island, according to Iran's Tasnim News, raising fresh questions about the extent of damage caused by US strikes. US strikes reportedly targeted locations in Al-Bardan, located in Iran's Khuzestan province, as military pressure continues to build across key areas. Additional US missile strikes were also reported near Avaz, Shadgan, and Avandkana, expanding the list of locations affected in the latest wave of attacks. Although, an Iranian official did not provide details on possible casualties, leaving the extent of the damage and human impact unclear. This comes as Donald Trump's warning against Iran appears to have turned into the latest series of strikes, marking another major development in the growing confrontation. Washington says it's now America's turn to respond as tensions with Tehran spiral once again.
On the attack, the drone attack on the LNG tanker off of Egypt, what can you tell us about that? And is there any indication it's Iran-related? Does it represent
Well,
a wide
I'll give you a report. I've been briefed. It's a little more of the same, but it's going to be straightening out. It's going to be straightening out. In the meantime, we're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them. They know it's coming. They're asking us not to do it, but they tried shooting it last night. So we had 5 rockets shot going 8,500 miles an hour, and all 5 rockets were knocked down to the ground. But they nevertheless took a shot, so it's our turn. And we'll see if we get there with an agreement at some point, but we're going to hit them very hard.
Iran reportedly fired first, prompting President Trump to authorize immediate retaliatory strikes. Trump's retaliation campaign begins with firepower after reports claimed Iran launched 5 missiles. After what officials described as a surprise Iranian attack, Trump vowed, "We got to smack them," before ordering a military response.
Under what scenario do you see Iran attacking U.S. installations and personnel overseas and you withdrawing?
I don't see that. No, we're not. No, we're gonna hit them very hard. I mean, I can actually say that because there's very little they can do about it. It was a different group than we're dealing with. They've already apologized, but we got to smack them a little bit.
Mr. President, will you hit back when they strike?
Will I always hit back?
Yes.
Pretty much. Yes.
Mr. President, just a point of clarity on that, sir. Is that in response to the attempted ballistic missile strike on Jordan last night? When you say it's our turn to hit back?
Yeah, I think more so that, because it was another smaller event. But no, they sent 5 8,000-mile-an-hour missiles at us. And fortunately, we had our people operating the greatest equipment in the world, namely the Patriot system. Think of it, 5 missiles going 8,600 miles an hour, big ones, coming right at us, and all 5 were shot down. How about that, right? Pretty good. Nobody else could do that but us, yeah.
Trump also revealed American troops had only a few critical minutes to intercept the surprise assault before it reached its targets. Despite the fresh escalation, Trump insisted diplomatic talks with Iran would continue even as military tensions spiraled across the region. The remarks came after Iranian forces launched fresh strikes on U.S. bases on July 28, while Trump was meeting Benjamin Netanyahu. The IRGC later released dramatic footage claiming to show ballistic missiles being fired toward a U.S. airbase in Jordan. The IRGC says it launched ballistic missiles at a U.S. airbase and a CENTCOM facility in Jordan on July 28.